Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc arrived at Spa with identical cars, yet Friday told two different stories. The morning showed a tight battle, but the afternoon gap exploded to nearly 8/10. Hamilton held fourth while Leclerc slipped to 11th in a sudden collapse that left Ferrari searching for answers. Both drivers faced the same power unit deficit and exhausted their energy stores equally. Hamilton managed the fragile package through precise inputs, while Leclerc lost his fastest lap to track limits. The data proves this was not about engine favoritism, but how each driver managed the narrow setup window. This divergence raises a brutal question for the team leadership. Did Hamilton simply execute a better session, or has Spa exposed a deeper setup problem? If Ferrari cannot close this gap before qualifying, then the biggest battle in red may be Hamilton versus Leclerc. The opening hour created a false sense of security for the Ferrari engineers. Hamilton sat in second place, while Leclerc trailed by just 6/10. This tiny delta suggested two evenly matched cars, but raw timing sheets often lie when traffic disrupts the flow. Once Hamilton cleared the traffic, his true speed emerged instantly. He dropped a lap that moved him firmly into the top three. Leclerc was matching this rhythm step for step in the morning light. Both drivers operated under the same energy constraints using identical power unit maps. This initial balance would not survive the changing demands of the afternoon. As the sun climbed higher, the grip levels began to shift. The car that felt predictable in the cool morning air started to reveal its nervous tendencies. Hamilton had already learned how to manage these quirks during his clean lap run. The afternoon session demanded precision as the track evolved rapidly. Grip levels increased and the car balance became sensitive to small adjustments. Hamilton remained stable in fourth, while Leclerc slipped to 11th. The gap grew to 7/10, which is an abnormal swing for teammates. Think of two people walking through a narrow doorway where timing is everything. One person turns slightly and passes through cleanly. The other catches a shoulder and loses momentum. Ferrari's setup created a similar narrow opening that Hamilton found with ease, while Leclerc struggled. This divergence suggests one car remained inside the performance window, while the other moved outside it. The same technical limitations affected both drivers, yet only one could mitigate them effectively. Leclerc's struggle was not just about raw speed, but about maintaining control under pressure. Leclerc crossed the line with a fast lap time, but it was deleted for exceeding track limits. In Formula One, usable performance matters more than theoretical pace because only legal laps count. The deletion revealed a deeper struggle within the car balance and loss of control. Track limit violations are often symptoms of a car that refuses to rotate cleanly. When the rear steps out, the driver must correct with steering input, which uses more track width. Hamilton avoided these errors entirely by managing the car's tendencies rather than fighting them. This difference in control separates a clean session from a chaotic one. Leclerc may have had more raw speed hidden in that deleted lap, but he could not convert it. The car must remain inside the track lines while the tires stay alive and the battery delivers power. It is easy to assume a large gap means one driver has a better engine, but the data shows both Hamilton and Leclerc exhausted their energy store allocation equally. They operated with the same electrical deficit and the same known power weakness on the long straights. The Ferrari power unit struggled at Spa just as it did in previous races. Both drivers felt the lack of top-end speed and had to manage battery deployment carefully. Hamilton did not receive extra power to help him climb to fourth place, while Leclerc struggled in 11th. This shared limitation forces us to look elsewhere for the cause of the gap. If the engine is not the variable, then the answer lies in corner handling. Hamilton minimized the power deficit through superior corner exit speed, while Leclerc struggled with an unstable balance. Spa demands a compromise that few cars can master without sacrifice. The long straights require low drag, while the middle sector needs high downforce. Ferrari cannot simply add wing to make the car comfortable because it worsens the straight line weakness for both drivers. Hamilton often prefers a sharp front end that responds immediately when he turns. Leclerc typically seeks more rear stability to keep the car planted through corners. Problems arise when the setup window becomes too narrow to satisfy both driving styles simultaneously. The car responded better to one style as conditions changed. Imagine wearing shoes that are slightly too loose. One runner adapts their stride to stay on pace. Another continues naturally and begins to slide. Hamilton adjusted his style while Leclerc searched for a response the car did not provide. Ferrari entered the weekend with one weakness, but by Friday, they were solving several problems. The tire return investigation created an operational crisis that affected both drivers. The physical tires had not been handed back to Pirelli on time, which triggered official scrutiny from stewards. This distraction divides the mental bandwidth of the entire garage. One group studies handling, while another checks compliance with regulations. The drivers should have been preparing calmly, but the atmosphere was charged with administrative pressure and divided attention. Leclerc found himself caught inside this operational storm while trying to understand his lap issues. The investigation did not cause the performance gap, but it changed the environment significantly. Ferrari needed to separate technical issues from procedural ones before qualifying began. The gap between Hamilton and Leclerc is not proof that one driver is faster. It is a warning sign that the Ferrari SF24 may be too fragile for a full race weekend. A robust car allows both drivers to adapt, but a fragile one punishes even small mistakes. Ferrari now faces a critical decision before qualifying begins. They can copy Hamilton's setup, but drivers need different balances to feel comfortable. A setup that gives Hamilton sharp response may leave Leclerc struggling with instability. The clock is ticking, and Spa punishes uncertainty harshly. This internal battle matters more than just one practice session. If Ferrari cannot close this gap, their biggest challenge will be managing two drivers extracting different performance levels. Speed is easy to find at Spa, but control is the difference between a championship fight and a missed opportunity.